Today, we're joined by author Suzie Klimt, who has written 2 to 3 Tears, a book that looks back at her own painful past and how she was able to make sense of it all. Welcome, Suzie, to 700 Club Canada.
Thank you. I'm humbled and honored to be here.
Oh, we're so honored to have you here. Your book shares your story of experiencing many tragedies, including abuse and serious accidents, mental health issues, abandonment, chronic pain, spiritual warfare, alienation. The list goes on. I mean, it's an incredible story. Tell us a little about it.
Well, from a young age, I felt different, like I didn't fit in, but I tried really hard to fit in. And I would see and feel these dark shapes and presences, and they terrified me, and because I didn't know what they were. So I tried my best to ignore them. Sometimes I would be fine, and then I'd be suddenly overcome with this heaviness and unworthy feeling. And it lasted most of my life, but nobody really knew about it because everybody saw me as calm, happy, strong. And then there always seemed to be something medically wrong with me. The doctors would always tell me, oh, I haven't seen that before. That's really odd. That doesn't make sense. In the span of about 20 years, I had 22 surgeries, including hip replacements, knees, heart surgeries, plates, accidents, mishaps. I'm a cancer survivor. I've had 6 concussions, the last of which being quite severe. Car accidents. My brother commits suicide. I struggled with some mental health issues, more of a closet depression, chronic pain. And I also have ankylosing spondylitis, which is a chronic, progressive, incurable disease.
Wow.
And none of those things broke me. I always had this will to persevere and to maybe prove how strong I was. So all the medical issues didn't break me, but the biggest challenge that I faced was my relationships with men. I was brainwashed with the notion that I had to find a soulmate to be, and I would have my happily ever after, because that's what all the romance novels and movies that I saw taught me. And so I believed that if I found my perfect match, I would be complete and all the problems would go away. And I was so desperate to love and be loved, but I was insecure. And then add on these voices in my head telling me that I'm not good enough. I was scared of conflict, really scared to say no. And so when a new man would come along, I didn't want to disappoint. So I ended up saying yes and going in these long string of relationships, a lot of them toxic and some of them very abusive. And then I became a born-again Christian, and I had this miraculous healing, and then I went through a deliverance.
Yeah. Well, I want to know,
Like,
it is amazing. I want you to tell the viewers more about that because, wow, like you faced a lot of difficult things and were tormented by evil from a very young child. Your book made me laugh and it made me cry, and I celebrated with you as you share how you found your true love in Jesus. So tell us what happened.
well, I felt like I was searching my whole life, but the enemy was always trying to pull me away. The closer I got to God, things would happen. It would pull me away. And then in my last relationship, which was the most toxic one, when it ended, I went to look for counseling, and I was somehow led to a pastor of a church not too far away, and he prayed over the phone with me, and I'd never had that done before, and it just moved me, and I knew I had to go into that church. And as soon as I walked in the door, Jesus met me right there, and I think I cried through the first year of worship, and I still cry sometimes. And I was baptized less than 2 months later. I gave my life to Jesus, and then I had this healing. And then when I went through the deliverance, it was like this veil was pulled out from my eyes, and I could suddenly see how strong of an influence the enemy had over my life. But I could also see how God had worked in my life as well. And it was so clear to me that Jesus was the person that I had longed for and who completed me. I didn't have to go to look for anyone else or anything else for that feeling because I was already whole in Christ.
Yeah. You know what? I just love your story, Suzie, and I'm so glad that you're sharing it today because there's people watching that maybe they've been tormented too by evil, didn't even really know what it was. I mean, you describe this, these figures and these voices and these haunting things in your life, and then all these tragedies and illnesses. But Jesus set you free. And that deliverance has totally transformed you. So, what is your hope for those that would read your book today?
Well, I geared it to both Christian and non-Christian audience. So for the non-Christian audience, I was hoping that if someone could find themselves in one of my scenarios, that they would be inspired to carry on, to persevere, to say, if this ordinary woman could get through it and still have so much joy and be smiling, then maybe I can. And then maybe they would come to know the source of true joy, no matter what they are suffering. And for the Christian reader, it was to know that the enemy is real. He's been trying to hold me back from speaking about it and even writing about it. And in 1 John 5:19, it says, "We know that we are from God, and the whole world lies in the power of the evil one." Many Christians don't believe how much the enemy can have influence over us or want to talk about it, but he's real. He knows, he doesn't sleep. He knows when we're the most vulnerable, and he's constantly trying to pull us away with whispers in our ear that maybe we're not good enough, or feelings of shame and worthlessness. And none of this is from God. Of course, our own humanness plays a part, and mental health is real, but so is Satan. But we have victory in Christ. And my hope is that more people become aware of it. And if they feel that the enemy might have some kind of influence over their life, that they seek a deliverance or talk to a trusted pastor or friend. And
That's
also,
right.
my hope is that people feel less alone and are encouraged to persevere through their own
Yeah,
challenges.
that's so good. Well, thank you, Susie, for writing it. And if you want Susie's book, go to 700club.ca. If you need help, you pick up the phone right now and call 1-855-759-0700. We believe in deliverance. We believe in healing and freedom, just like Susie experienced. Thank you, Susie.
Thank you.